Is this on? I think it is. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Let's start the show with Kenny complaining. You ever just interact with someone who the first words out of their mouth is something that's not pleasing? Who would ever want to be associated with an animal like that? You just walk up to them, and the first words out of their mouth is complaint. That's what we have here. Rebecca writes, I knew this was coming. Yeah, you know me. You know me. And you're also like, who the hell does that? Look at everyone else. Look at everyone else on here. Chris, good morning. Maureen, good morning. Rebecca, good morning. Adam's birthday is today. Good morning, Adam. Happy birthday to you. As you know, I have no problem with anybody's birthday on this show. So happy birthday to Adam. I'm sorry that you have a broken arm. Today on your birthday, Adam, don't tell anyone the story about your broken arm. Unless you've edited 99% of it. Chris writes, good morning, Toon Man. Thanks for playing my request. Chris says, I just watched the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast last night, and holy smokes, that was a riot. More on that in a bit. Becky writes, sup. Linda says, hello. Donko says, good morning. Maureen says, Ben and Eric was a shit show. Kenny writes, hey, mate, I really wish that the now playing feature on the app, Q100, was accurate. Who was it that had that live song with the talking intro about Vietnam before the song this morning? Anyone know? That is REO Speedwagon Golden Country. That is a legitimate gripe, I understand. It's just weird, though, how it just, the first thing out of your mouth. Come on. Yeah, we know. There's something wrong with it. It does the same thing to me. They're working on it. We'll get to it. That's problem number 850 on list of things to do. Welcome to you. But yes, that was a wonderful song, Golden Country by REO Speedwagon. If you didn't listen to Pile of Shit music, you would have known that. Roger says, morning easy. Donko says, that was a cool song, Kenny. Who was it? Now you know. Nick says, what an old fuck. Wait, we had an old fuck at work we described as he ain't happy unless he's bitching. Exactly. He ain't happy unless he's bitching. Kenny, you're like an old man. Kenny says, apparently we're not supposed to ask. Figures. No. The problem is not asking. It's you complaining. I really wish that you always bitch. There's always something to complain about. Wouldn't it have been just easier to say, who sang the song where the guy did the Vietnam thing beforehand? I couldn't figure out who that was. So there's that. It's always got to be some type of gripe, some type of concern. God. So no, it is no problem with you asking who sang the song, but just ask who sang that song. Chris says, being there a huge operation like Cumulus, I'm sure they were able to fix it stat. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Happy birthday to young Adam Schwab. Up north, Justin, who's actually up there in the land of the 1,000-yard stairs, says hello. Welcome to you. Kenny writes, who knew asking for a song title from people that also listen was against the rules? Stupid fuck. Molly, leaving me hanging, writes, sorry, easy. Never got around to emailing you this weekend. Ended up being pretty busy. We'll get it over this weekend sometime. Donko says the hum on the app seemed less noticeable today. That is known as a ground loop hum. Also being looked at. Kenny says it was a great song because it led to my daughter saying this music sucks on her way to school. Uh-huh. All right. Donko says, don't give in, Kenny. You're right. I don't care that he asked for what song. Why do I have to keep repeating myself? Listen to me very carefully. It's okay to ask for what song. I encourage that. But it's not okay to complain in the same sentence. Just stop complaining. What does that get you? I just wish that this, and then that. So shut up, both of you. God, always something to bitch about. Moving on. I didn't want that to be the start of the show, but this actually is the start of the show. And I don't know how great this is either. But your old pal EZ had a bona fide revolt over the weekend. And I knew this was going to happen. It was set up perfectly. We did the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. And in the audience was all dudes. And Amanda, who is not a dude, who I don't think she minds this that much, but a large number of audience does mind this and let me know so. Before I get to that, I'll give you the end of the story and then I'll work my way backwards. Unfortunately, because of some chronic nudity until further notice, suspended from all video indefinitely, is none other than Hurricane Ashley. Now, what this involves is if we are doing a live stream like the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, and Ashley is in the audience to hang out and have a good time, I will have to toggle the function on the software so that her camera is not operable. And that's unfortunate. But she was showing her boobs quite a bit again on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Now, I'll say this. I like Ashley a lot. We are girlfriends. And she knows my female wisdom is at an all-time high. And we chit-chat all the time. She's great. I have no problem with her, but she is a perpetual line stepper and rule breaker when it comes to nudity on the Patreon bonus or the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. And the first time she showed her boobies, I said, okay, you can't do that anymore. And it happened a second time, but I missed it. And then it was, there was a lot. I think she showed, you were looking at her bare, topless upper body more than like with a shirt on. And though we were all laughing and having a good time, not everybody likes that. So the folks that don't like it, just by chance, happen to not be in the audience for that show. Well, then they eventually did see that. And, okay, I was having a lot of dialogue with folks about this exact thing. Not happy campers. And I agreed. I said, you're right. Enough is enough. We are not going to have that happen anymore. So until further notice, until I can figure out what's up and what's down and what's left and what's right, Ashley is banned from all video transmission. Now, I'll also say this. This is going to enrage her. She will be furious with this. But we cannot have this anymore. So that is it. You have seen the last of Ashley until further notice. Now, she can still enjoy the show. She can still communicate with us. But I will say this. Ashley has a tendency to just unmute her mic and talk. Hopefully that won't happen either, because then I'll be like, we're trying to have a good time here. We can't just be blurting shit out. And being that we won't be able to see her, what I think will happen is she will then unmute and just talk randomly. I'm trying to, mold the talent here, because I also think she's very funny, very talented. She makes me laugh all the goddamn time. She made a lot of people laugh. Not everybody hated the show, the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, but there's definitely a division. I laughed, but I can absolutely understand the people who are not happy with it. And some people were like, fucking, this is terrible. We have had it. We have had it up to here. So being that I'm trying to make everybody happy, and I did, in fact, say the first time this happened, no more boobies. Now, to be clear, Ashley is not on Patreon anymore, but what she did was she went over to Amy's house, and on Amy's account, showed her boobies on Amy's account, and Amy's there laughing her ass off, which is fun. Every time I see Amy laugh, I laugh. So I'm like, oh my God. So that was happening. But so if I'm there watching the show and all of a sudden on Amy's camera, I see titties, then unfortunately Amy's camera will have to be blocked. Ashley's probably going to go to everybody's house and try to show her titties on everybody's camera. So I did hear back from several audience members who organized kind of like a union. And, there's strength in numbers. And I said, yeah, okay, I get you. I hear you. And something will be done. So this is what's being done. This has been implemented. I've run it up the flagpole here at the Eric Zane Show podcast household. The board has voted on it, and the board consists of these three dogs, me, Pooh Bear, and the NFK. The NFK wanted to see titties, but he was outvoted. So unfortunately, this is official. Your thoughts? Amy says the boob showing was not planned. I promise. I believe you. Ben Glaze says my fiance would love her being on my camera. I don't think so. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? Nick says, we almost got starfish till you prudes shut it down. Yeah, I don't want to be seeing a butthole on the camera. Kenny writes, at least I just asked too many questions. Again, you don't. You complain. The questions are okay. The complaints are not. Say it to yourself 500 times so you don't forget it, you fucking moron. At least I just asked too many questions rather than whipping my dick out and stuff on camera. You complaining? I would rather see your stubby dick than see you complain on the chat. Okay? That is less annoying. It might even turn me on. Chris says, I think she's a perpetual line stepper and rule breaker with all things in life. Mike writes, LOL, at this point, every time I'm not looking at the video feed and hear everyone stop talking, I assume someone is naked. I think that's what it says. It's written weird. Chris from Buffalo says, fuck you, Eric Zane. I love you, Eric Zane. Fuck you, Eric Zane. I love you, Eric Zane. Here's my tits. Amy says, I'm not allowed to have Ash on site anymore. You are allowed to have Ashley on site. How come no one's listening to me? Why does no one listen when I explain myself? I explained to Kenny, I love your questions. I hate your complaining. All I did was ask questions. Fuck face. I said, I don't mind your fucking questions. Amy, you're more than welcome to have Ashley there. However, if she shows her boobies, we have a problem. Ryan writes here, let me give you an example of how this should be done. Hey, EZ, I heard some kind of Vietnam song this morning on Q100. Do you know the name of it or who sang it? Exactly. That's wonderful. That would have me going, oh, wow. Yeah, boy, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I'd give you the who it is. But when you start with a complaint, this is why the entire universe hates you. Nick writes, Kenny wanted Eric Zaitunian and he got Eric Zane. Kenny says that song was fucking horrible. Well, that's okay too. I don't care. Kenny says, you want a complaint? No, I don't. When did I ever say I want you to complain? Do you listen? You are actually a moron. You want a complaint? Did anyone in the audience detect that I wanted Kenny to complain? Or did I say the opposite? Like, quit complaining all the goddamn time. He writes, you want to complain? Fine. It really ducking sucks that Q100 can't get their shit on the app working correctly so I could look down and know what song was playing like it's supposed to. Kenny, I think your boss probably says the same thing about you when you're eating fucking zingers on the Zoom. Now shut the fuck up. God. Chris says somebody DoorDash Kenny a sleeve of Oreos for fuck's sake. Yeah, really. Fucking eat some pancakes or something. God damn. Tofus says zingers on the Zoom. LOL. Tofus, you checked in on the Zoom for the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, and then I don't think I saw you on it. Unless I'm missing something. Ben Glaze says, Google the lyrics, Kenny. By the way, who in the world, if you don't know a song, doesn't have something at the... If only there was something that exists in the world that you could, like, press a button and then a magic wizard hears the song, okay? And then when the magic wizard hears the song, he will talk through a device called mobile device and tell you what it is. And let's just say the wizard's name could be, I don't know, Shazam. If only there was something called Shazam that existed. And why the fuck do you care anyway if you thought the song sucked, you gargantuan whore? I was driving. Hello? I can't use that plus the mobile app at the same time. Dumb shit. Okay, so you want to know the name of a song that you hated? Oh, my God. What an asshole. What a stupid Neanderthal fuckface hillbilly cocksucker. So, there you go. Bulls on Parade said you can Shazam it with the app open. I did it. All right. Well, now you know. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the fucking show. Whew. Jimmy is here. Jimmy, I just broke the news to everybody. You have seen the last booby. The Ben and Eric Patreon podcast was chock full of beat-off material for you as Hurricane Ashley was showing her boobs all over the thing again. And, well, that's enough. Enough is enough. Her camera will be shut off permanently. And she is not allowed to actually... We will not see an image anymore of Ashley going forward. All right. Thank you. Let's see. Megan, Ben, first of all, wrote best part of his week. Ben shit his pants at the end of the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. We were kind of just doing our final bit, talking shit with the audience. And he actually shit his pants. He wasn't just kidding. He just shit his pants. And then he got up and walked away while we were all talking shit. Megan says, I just asked for my sign to be taken down. That's out in the public. I'm not hiding it. No. That had nothing to do with it. I mean, there was several people that reached out to me and said, okay, we've had it. Enough. And I go, you're right. And so, yeah. Now, Ashley's going to take that horribly and probably never talk to me again. But I can't, this is kind of like the way it's got to be. And Ashley, God bless her, I told her, I go, look, I understand you're pushing the envelope the first time she did it, but no more boobies. You have to promise me. And she said, I can't. So there you go. She said, promise broken. Well, she didn't make the promise. So she didn't lie. She didn't lie, nothing like that. But she is now officially banned from any video imagery going forward. We will not see boobies on the show. All right, this happened. I love this. Just the other day, I noticed that a person signed up for the free podcast, 7 days free. This is the first time this happened. Somebody signed up just to tell me to fuck off on Patreon. And okay, so I don't know if it's the person's real name. It could be anybody. They actually used the name Greg, but it's not our Greg. It's not the Burn King, as far as I know. I guess it could be. But the person goes by Greg. And I saw it. It showed up. It says, Greg signs up for 7 days free. And I'm like, oh, that's always good. Hopefully they'll like it. And then, if they don't like it, they can just cancel it. That's what I encourage people to do. But I think this person simply signed up just to comment. And this was at the in the comments of this same show, the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Which, by the way, Maureen wrote, I can't believe Ben actually told us he shit his pants whilst everyone was talking shit. I would never have divulged that info. But then again, he'd had a few margaritas. His giggling throughout the show made me smile. I said he's a legend. Amy wrote he had an entire bottle of margaritas. Maureen says, and he was going to look at tuxes later. I hope he didn't end up with orange and light blue with ruffles like in Dumb and Dumber. But if you are on Patreon, you can see this this person, Greg, who wrote this about you, audience members. Only the poorest, grossest, least desirable people in the world listen to you, piece of shit. Then follows it up with, Eric, your content is shit. And then another one, this is worse than a butter conversation. And then says, this was probably, P-R-L-Y, probably the worst content I've ever heard. And I wrote, cool, thanks for being here, Justin. All right. Ashley says, she is here. She was ha, 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 ha. Tophus says, I missed your tits again. And Ben shit his pants. Jimmy writes, I hate people who hate Eric. Ashley writes, you didn't have permission to share the 25-year-old story. Boobs would have gotten this edited out, but that bottle of Margs was the best. Okay? Well, Ashley, I love you dearly. You know that. But we cannot have boobies anymore on the show. So welcome to you. But until further notice, you can only be heard and not seen. I hope you're comfortable with that. Tophus says, I don't understand the tit hate. Well, I mean, I don't. I'm not here to try to figure that out. All I'm doing is try to do my best to keep everybody happy. That's all I know. Ashley says, I don't care. You really pissed me off sharing that info without permission. Tophus says, love the boobs. Love each other. All right. So that puts a wrap on that. You see, at the end of the day, everybody's going to be pissed at me. There's nothing I can do here. This is the old, I'm damned if I do, I am damned if I don't. Ryan says, Ashley, your story had me on the ground, though. Ashley says, normally you say cool to share. I was a good sport about it, but I wanted it edited out. All right. So Ashley wants us to edit something out. Okay? I'll run it up the flagpole with the board. Tophus says, elaborate, please. Well, I'm not going to elaborate on anything. You'd have to check it out for yourself, I guess, while it's still up. I mean, there's obviously going to be some huge editing being done on that podcast. This is now a controversial episode. There's nudity. There's storytelling that is not desired to be on there. Jimmy says, Ashley, I thought you were saving yourself for me. Ashley says, have a good day, guys. I just wanted my side of that shared. So is your suggestion then that I talked about something that you weren't comfortable with me talking about? But so in response, you showed your boobs? Is that how it's supposed to go? I'm confused. Maybe spell it out for me. I'm a little slow on the uptake. I don't know. Whatever. At the end of the day, I hope it's all good. Ben says, you got to listen or watch on Patreon. Maureen says, you'd have to cut the first half hour of the show. I really thought she gave you the okay. Yeah, I don't remember. You might be right on that. If that's okay. I mean, if it's indicated in there by the immortal Hurricane Ashley that she gave me the okay, well, then, I can only go with what she tells me to do. If she says, yeah, sure, go ahead and tell it, then, yeah, I'm gonna tell it, of course. I mean, it was a fantastic moment that happened. I was woken up at 7 a.m. to Ashley texting me. She had something to share with me. And she sure as hell did. 7 a.m. I'm like, who the fuck, why are you up so early? Ryan says, I can offer my video editing services to you, big fraud. I could cops style censor out all of the tit action and bleep out anytime anything about her is mentioned. The entire episode could be a long bleep. Jimmy says, thank God for screenshots and a printer. Come on, Jimmy. What the hell is wrong with you? All right. This is an interesting Monday show again. On Monday, I will take an 11 a.m. break. The 11 a.m. break will happen because we've got the all-important Q100 staff meeting. No, I won't put it out live for the world to see. This is top secret information that can only be shared with high-level radio people. I will bring up with the audience Kenny's complaint about the app. Nick refers to me as Big Corporate Zane. Anyway, thank you for the folks that are watching the show on Facebook, X, and YouTube. You're all great. I appreciate you very much. But I'm going to send you on your way. You can check out the show on Twitch. Download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live if you want to get the show in its entirety. Or on your desktop or laptop, just go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. While you're at it, think about the Patreon. You can sign up for 7 days free and throw insults at me. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. I don't care. As long as you show up. I don't care if you show up there and insult me. Whatever, that's fine. Do it for free. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. I just posted the latest edition of Who Are These Zanes and the very controversial Ben and Eric Patreon podcast that aired this weekend. for the record, me personally, I don't care that there's boobies there. I'm only looking out for other people, knowing that other people don't like it. And, I mean, that's my livelihood. And if I get enough blowback about one particular thing, I mean, I talk about how, I'm program director free, and that's true. But if I have a group of people that tell me that they don't like a particular thing, well, I'm going to listen. So that's what happened. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with anything, with anybody that does have a problem with it. Trust me, I'm good. I don't have a problem with Ashley. At least I thought I didn't have a problem with Ashley. I think I do now. I think she's pretty upset at me. And I don't have a problem with people who complained about the boobies. But nevertheless, patreon.com/Eric Zane. That episode is there in its entirety right now. You can check it out for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Boobies everywhere on it. And an outrageously fun time. It was a great story. It was very fun. But apparently now I have to edit it out. But I got to go over it with a fine-tooth comb because I could have swore I said, is it okay if I talk about this? I mean, if I said, is it okay if I talk about this to someone, and then someone says yes, then I'm going to talk about it. Seems like I have to explain things to certain people 100 times today. I don't know if it's because it's a Monday. Everybody's a little bit dense. But some of you seem really stupid today in particular. I think Kenny and Ashley might be the two dumbest people I've ever spoken to in a long time. And that's okay, but you all seem, you two in particular seem horrifically dumb. And everybody's seeing it, and we're glad that you're here. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Email me on the Shoreliner Striping inbox like Molly refuses to. Eric@EricZaneShow.com. Now I have to wait 5 more days, apparently, for her to send me an email. God damn it. Thanks. Eric@EricZaneShow.com. Hire me on Cameo. I got T-shirts on my website, all that shit. Cameo is cameo.com/Eric Zane. I'm going to kick the people out that are watching the show on Facebook, X, and YouTube.